This is the Refuge Project.
Welcome to the Refuge Project. The Refuge Project is a place that we can have meaningful conversation in a safe place. And we are back.
Yeah, we're back.
We're back. We are your host, and you know it's the hostess with the mostest.
Oh, okay.
James.
Oh, I'm the mostest?
Yes, you're the mostest.
Jeez, okay.
And you know, the sidekick, the Robin to the Batman, Pastor David.
Why you putting yourself down like this? What is going on?
You're the mostest, man. I don't
What did
know.
you tell me right before we started this?
What were we talking about?
You were talking about listening to this podcast.
Oh, yeah. So, I don't know. So I was listening to some music the other day while I was doing whatever. And then, one of our podcasts popped up with the Velas. They were talking about doing worship music and stuff. And, you know, we get on here and we talk. We don't we don't work, just we came together today. We're like, okay, what we're going to talk about, so it's pretty natural. And for me hearing it, it's like the first time I've ever heard it.
He said he's listening to it. He goes, it's actually a pretty good podcast.
Pretty good
episode.
podcast.
So basically, he's checked out in all of these podcasts. He doesn't know what he's saying. He's paying no attention to any of it.
That's not what I mean.
That's basically what he's saying. And he said he's listening to this podcast. He goes, man, these are some good points. This is some really good stuff.
Whoever's talking to you is pretty good.
Has no recollection of anything.
Hey, man, once I move on, listen, I'm almost 50 years old. Hard drive's getting full.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, I know about that, man.
So
you need to back up that info because
we have to clean the hard drive, defrag, all those things.
Oh, yeah.
So some stuff gets lost, some gets lost.
Anyway, it was just funny to me. We were talking about that, and also I've got some peanut butter chocolate cookies on the table.
Okay, yes. So I definitely want to talk about this.
Yeah, so my wife made these cookies last night, and she does this periodically where she'll make a dessert or something just because she feels like it. Just she has some free time. She says, it'd be fun if I made some cookies or something. And so she'll make them, but then we'll have a dozen, 2 dozen cookies, and it's just us there.
Yeah.
So we could eat a cookie a day or 2 cookies a day, and we'll still be eating cookies for like a week or so.
Right. That's not good. Not a good thing.
Not good. And after the second or third day, you're just like, man, I don't think I want any more of these cookies. So she'll do this, and then she'll be like, hey, you got to take these cookies here, take them here, bring them with you there, just trying to get rid of them. So I've got all these cookies that I was going to give to the office staff here, but I forgot to set them out, so they're still sitting on the table. And David is very distracted by this.
I am very distracted because, okay, so just to take this back for a second. So I have 2 sets of clothes. I have my fatter clothes, and then I have a size down from that.
I thought you meant you have 2 pairs of clothes.
No, I have some big boy clothes, and then I got when I'm really on eating right and stuff. Those kind of clothes.
You got your sweatpants.
Yes,
and you've got your fitted jeans.
No, I actually got 2 sizes.
Okay, all right. So you got these clothes.
Yeah. So with the big boy clothes is starting to get tight. You know what I mean? So I had to back off on some sugar.
So he's got a 3rd set of clothes coming in.
No. I'm backing off on some sugar.
Okay, all right.
So I asked James, I said, well, they're peanut butter chocolate. So they're a peanut butter cookie with the kiss on top.
Yeah, the chocolate kiss on the top.
And I'm just like, well, is it really sugar if it's peanut butter?
Yeah, there's sugar all in it, dude.
So I wanted to know if I just ate around the chocolate, would that be okay?
I don't think it works like that at all.
But then that reminded me. Okay, so just say that I'm on a, no carb diet.
Okay.
Okay?
Just say it.
No, I'm not. I'm not right now.
Okay. But
I have been, and that's the next step. So I always do this in steps. I go sugar and then caffeine and then carbs, but when I was on really strict, I lost, 65 pounds at one time.
Jeez.
But I was just wondering, no carbs, could I just chew the bread and spit it out?
People do that. That's a real thing.
Is it?
It's stupid.
Does it work?
It's stupid.
Do you still get the carb?
People look. What they'll do is you can. You didn't eat it, but you
get
wasted
the taste.
Yeah,
So I could go.
You should see the desperate look on.
So
his
I could
face
go
right
to.
now, everybody.
I could go to Texas Roadhouse and chew one of those biscuits or whatever they have with the honey biscuit butter, and then just spit it out.
You could ask them for an extra plate that you can just spit all your disgusting chewed
and
food on.
it doesn't count.
It doesn't count, but everybody's going to judge you as they should.
That's okay. That's okay.
No, this is a real thing. People will do it. They'll, especially in like the like.
I'm all geeked up now.
But they'll commit. People will commit to these like way too intense diets.
Yeah.
Where they're just craving normal food. All the time, and so
see if I got a Kit Kat right now
to satisfy their cravings, they'll just they'll do that. They'll put some food in their mouth, chew it up, go, oh, that's so great, and then they'll spit it back out.
But you got to have some type of absorption rate.
If you're chewing food and spitting it out and still getting fat, like something else is wrong, okay? It's not because you chew too much food. It's not it. And he's so disappointed. He's trying to convince himself. Yeah, you just eat normal food.
Oh my gosh.
You'll be all right.
I'm going to have to give me a doggy bag and spit this stuff out on the side when nobody's looking.
But it's real. It's so sad, though. People will do that. They'll go to those extremes.
Is it sad?
It's sad, man.
Is it really sad?
Yeah, just have a piece of bread from time to time. It's okay. It'll be okay. You can have one cookie a week. It's not going to kill you.
But I'm that guy that's all in or all out.
So you've been eating nothing but cookies for how many years has it been since you bought those pairs of clothes?
I got two. I got two sets that just shows that I'm going to lose weight, but I'm going to gain it back.
You know what you should do? You should lose the weight and then throw all those big boy clothes away.
No, because that doesn't work because I don't have to buy them again.
No, that's the
And this is how I know. This is how I know I'll gain too much weight. I don't use a scale. But I begin to snore so loud, Sandra goes onto the other end of the bed.
Your body's just like...
Yeah, it's just like struggling to breathe.
Yeah. You're just like...
Okay, it's time to go to
babe,
diet.
Can you get me another peanut butter cookie? babe.
I was just laying in the bed with all these crumbs.
Is there any more rolls left over from Texas Roadhouse? Bring the butter, babe. The cinnamon butter. Just like sugary butter. Just sugary fat rubbed on your roll.
Listen, I don't...
Oh, it's good. I like it. They're good, dude. Take them home. Eat them in bed the next night. Babe. I love the idea. I always find it hilarious of the idea of
I'm sick,
of
right?
the disgusting man just asking his wife for stuff. I love that. Babe.
Sandra's just like, nah, if you're going to eat that, you need to get your own.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not bringing it to you.
Yeah. You got to put the work in. You got to at least walk up and down the stairs.
I feel sorry for people, certain people that eat fairly well, but still doesn't lose weight.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, most people that's the case for, they're not moving at all.
Yeah.
They get up, they sit in their car, they drive to their office, they sit at their desk, and then they get in their car, they drive back home and sit on the couch, and that's it. Hard to burn some calories when that's your whole life.
And this is the tough part for me because like during the summer I'm out exercising a lot, working, business is cranking, we're moving. It's hot outside.
You sweating it up,
and then so
you get home, you want to just sit down.
But then the winter comes, season slows down. There's not as much work. Holidays, lots of food, lots of desserts. You put on that winter 20.
Yeah.
You
gotta get your old clothes back out.
Chew and spit.
Hey, look, if that's what you want to do,
if that's what it takes, I mean, listen, there's sacrifices in life.
I don't know, man. I don't. I mean, there is. I do know that is true. I don't know if that's the.
Hang on, I gotta grab a Kleenex to wipe the tears out of my eyes.
He's sweating over here. Anyway, yeah, I'll take the I'll take the cookies out of the room if it's going to be that much.
No, but he did slide them behind my computer so I couldn't see it.
I'm just trying to help,
Oh my gosh. What are we supposed to be doing next?
Well,
Jump right into
we could jump into it.
Culture Corner.
Yep.
Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Let's go first.
All right. I got a decent story this week.
Okay.
It doesn't involve animals, but it's still a good story.
Next week you need to bring some animals. It's been a while since we've had an animal story.
There hasn't been a good one hasn't popped up.
Yeah, it's kind of winter, so everybody's kind of chilling, right? You know, hibernation and
Not all animals Anyway. Okay, so this one, the headline says, Texas woman kidnapped as a baby in 1971 finally found family thanks to a family DNA test.
wow. 1971.
Yeah, so it's been...
So she's 51 years old.
Well, I think she's 52 or 53. Okay, so this is what happened. This is the story. She's born, and she's when she gets kidnapped, she's 22 months old. So she's almost 2.
Wow.
And what happened was her parents had just recently split up, and the mom was working, I think they said as a waitress, and the mom put out an ad in the paper or whatever for a babysitter, and this babysitter ends up, the babysitter comes to, she has a roommate at the time, the mom does, and so the mom's at work, the babysitter comes, picks up the baby from the roommate, and and she's supposed to like watch the kid for, I guess, the night or whatever, and she just takes off with the baby, and they never hear from her again or whatever. So the mom, hey, I need a babysitter. Person says, I'll be your babysitter. Picks up the baby, disappears.
I'll be a babysitter for life.
Yeah, she said, I'll just take that baby real quick.
Wow.
So that was 1971. So they've been looking for the kid. They've hired private investigators. They've sent DNA stuff to different labs to try to track down people. Like, they've done the whole thing. But the way they found the girl is the dad does this 23andMe test, one of those things, and he goes and on his results show that that he's got 3 grandkids from some lady that he doesn't know. And so he looks up that lady, and that lady's got the same birthmark that his baby had and all. And he's like, oh my gosh. So anyway, so he like hits her up on Facebook. He's like, I've been looking for my child, like all weird and creepy. The message that they put in here was pretty funny. But so he hits her up on Facebook. They go meet, and anyway, it turns out that was his daughter. So like he does a 23andMe, and it says he's got some grandkids. He's like, what? I don't have these grandkids. Looks into it, finds that person, and that was the daughter. Wow. So she's 50, I think.
So is the mom the babysitter still alive?
That one, it doesn't really say. She's just gone. It just kind of says she's gone. But I mean, she just raised her. Like, or she just took the baby and was like, all right, this is my baby.
That'd be crazy your whole life. You're like, now, that lady is 50-something. She's probably 60-something, 70. Yeah. And then you go to prison.
Yeah. I think she's dead. I think. Because
Thank God for her.
The article doesn't really say what happened to her. Or actually, it might have. Yeah, it doesn't really say anything crazy. Man. But, I mean, if you're the baby.
You don't know
who's not
different.
A baby. Yeah. At 52 or whatever.
Your whole life would just turn
They say, hey,
down.
actually, you were my kid, and somebody stole you. Like, what?
Wow.
But, I mean, in the whole article, everybody's just pumped to see each other. They're all crying and hugging and all that stuff, and they're all excited.
Nuts. Well, that happened not too long ago when that guy kidnapped that little girl. She was, like, 10 or something, and then, like, kept her captive in the basement.
Oh, yeah.
And then she escaped one day.
But didn't he, like, molest her and stuff?
Yeah,
she
had his kids and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's when that guy, that guy would just like, I just saw this white girl.
Yeah. That is, not that this story's good, but I think it was a much different situation.
Yeah.
This one, it seems like
everything was
cool. Yeah. Except for, obviously she stole the baby. It wasn't her baby, but they just...
So how do you do that? Like, I mean, I don't want people to think I'm like trying to figure it out how to steal a baby or anything.
This is how you do it. Step 1.
But how do you get like birth certificates, enroll them in school, take them to the doctor? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, I guess you could homeschool them. I mean, there's got to be a way where, like, if I lose my birth certificate, I can get another one. There's got to be a way.
Yeah, your mom and dad go down there and get you one. Yeah. Sign for it.
I don't know. You come up with a few lies or whatever. I mean,
yeah, it's probably not as. It wasn't as hard back then.
Yeah, this was also 71.
Yeah, this is pre, 9/11 and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, oh wow, man, that's everything changed in 9/11. Like the world changed how you identify yourself and all that stuff. So,
yeah, for sure.
Wow, that is crazy. Can you imagine?
Got her back.
Yeah,
kind of. Except the parents are in their 70s now, if I remember right.
Yeah, but most of those people are like. A lot of you hear those stories and they were like, I knew that there was something not right, or I didn't feel like I was like a part of the family. There was something different.
Never mentioned that. It never mentioned anything about the kidnapper being bad to her. Or it never mentioned any of that stuff.
I never looked like my siblings or stuff like that. There's always like stories.
I don't think she had siblings though. In this one,
she couldn't. Mom didn't have the opportunity to kidnap another kid.
I would guess. Yeah, she said one's enough. I would guess the kidnapper couldn't have kids for whatever reason.
Yeah, that's not
and just
crazy like Selena type stuff.
Yeah,
like right. If nobody can have her, I'm gonna take her.
No, I think she just wanted a baby really bad. Still not good.
But that just kind of shows you, like in America, we have so many people, so many kids in like foster care and different things like that that they make it so hard and so expensive. These people are going out and like snatching kids.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I don't know anything about this lady, but I wouldn't be surprised if she couldn't have kids for whatever reason. Decides maybe I'll adopt a kid. Goes through some level of all that process. It's not happening, or it's taken so long, or it's going to cost her all this money she doesn't have. Yeah. And she just decided, I'll just take a kid.
Well, my oldest son I adopted, which is my wife's son. Uh-huh. So he wasn't like, in foster care or anything like that. But
right.
But I adopted him. I gave him my last name. I am his father, and he is my son. Mm-hmm. But we had to go through a long process of like home inspections, and they looked to see how much food that we had in our refrigerator.
Mm-hmm. How long did it take?
Several months.
Okay.
Several months. But we were in a decent place in life where, we didn't have a lot, but we wasn't indigent, and it still was like, questions, interviews from family members and all these different things. And I got to think, like, is it better for a kid to be raised poor and have government assistance in a home that people love them, or 7, 8 kids in a foster home where bad things are happening and maybe like sexual things that might be happening? A lot of these horror stories come out of these homes. Mm-hmm. And then, like, if you don't have enough money, if you don't make over $35,000 a year, you can't raise a kid because you don't have nothing but beans and rice. Mm-hmm. I think that
I've never heard anything good about foster care.
Yeah, no,
I don't think. I mean, there's got to be some success story out there.
I'm sure there is.
I've only heard bad stories.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's really good foster parents.
Yeah,
right. Sure. That've been raising these kids and one after another and do a really good job with them. Gotta be. But even the foster whole thing is broke because after these kids turn 18, mm-hmm. the government assistance stops for them. Yeah. So now they went from having all of this assistance, helping them grow and helping them trying to get ahead in life and all that, and then it stops. Yeah. So that puts the foster parents in a weird position because now what do? Like, they can't afford to raise this kid anymore. So now this kid goes from all this help to just thrown mm-hmm. out in the world and, okay, good luck. Yeah. You don't have no family. You don't have no support. It's just you out there, So that's interesting. But, hey.
So basically, if you want to steal a kid instead, all you got to do.
Yeah, just snatch one.
You just take
Go
one.
to Walmart.
You say, I'll babysit. And
just wait for a kid to be taking the basket back while the parents are loading the groceries up and just snatch one up.
And you could get away with it for at least 50 years.
Yeah, if you're good.
Yep.
I don't suggest that.
I mean, it just depends on your income level. There's a lot of factors to consider.
The thoughts of this people of this podcast do not reflect. Yes. I got a story.
That's Elam Church's stance.
Yeah, that is not Elam Church's stance. It's not even my stance. I was just being. That was a joke.
Can you imagine you going to a church? I'm just going through such a hard time, and I just found out I can never have a kid, and I don't know. Does God even love me? And Pastor says, "Look, you've got options.
Then he drop you off at Walmart. I'll pick you up at 2:30.
No, dude, go to Target. You don't want those Walmart kids, dude. Go to Target, bro. Get you a better kid than the Walmart kid.
Listen,
actually, you know what? You maybe
let's
should
go to Kohl's. It's a better option than Kohl's.
You maybe ought to go to Walmart because some of them kids probably need to get taken out of the situation they're in.
Oh my gosh!
Maybe. Anyway, we ought to go on to your story. What you got, dude?
Yeah, we're not getting ourselves out of any trouble here.
Talking about saving kids from Walmart. You got left alone at Walmart as a baby? Your parents ain't doing good. They need some new parents. Help them out. If them Target parents, they're keeping an eye on their kid.
If you're below 4 returning baskets, then your parents don't love you.
You need some new ones. And then take that kid to church with you. Come back. Let them know that Jesus loves them. You know, we're just trying to save the world. No, nothing.
One kidnapping at a time.
That's all we're trying to do here.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, did you have a story or?
Yay is back in the news.
Hey, can you tell me what happened? Why do people now, anytime somebody talks about Kanye, they all say, Ye, formerly known as Kanye West.
Because he changed his name to
legally changed it? Oh, that's why. Okay. I didn't know he legally changed it.
Yeah, he did. He had legally changed his name to Ye. Supposed to be some spiritual thing that he's going through. So,
okay.
But back in the news, Ye is officially running for president.
Where's my button, dude?
He has announced his 2024 presidential bid.
Back at it again. Hey, who's his running mate?
The rapper Kanye West said that he intends to run for president in 2024 despite facing several scandals over his recent behavior.
Yeah.
He also claimed that he asked Donald Trump to be his running mate.
Oh, yeah. I also heard Donald Trump told him no.
He ran in 2020 and it kind of flopped. He had 70,000 votes though.
70? I heard he only had like 50.
70,000 votes.
That's a low number though.
Yeah.
People don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in the United States.
That's an embarrassing.
That's how many people
number.
get kidnapped from Walmart every year.
Yeah, that's. I think it's less. I think there's more.
His latest claim in the video posted after West was spotted at Trump's Mar-a-Lago golf club earlier this week says that he talked to President Trump, who recently announced his own re-election campaign. He was most perturbed about the whole thing. Perturbed. Yeah. In this meeting, West claimed that Trump stated basically screaming at me at the table, telling me, I'm going to lose.
He's a smart guy.
Yeah. And he says, has that really ever worked for anyone in the history of presidential runnings? I don't know what that means. So, yeah, Ye is running for president, facing, uphill battle.
Yeah, you can say that.
Bro, how special would that have been? Kanye and Donald Trump running together.
More or less votes?
I think the Trumpsters would have voted anyways.
No, I don't think so.
Yes, bro.
No.
These people that love Trump love.
But most of those people are like middle-aged white people.
But these people are blind to who Trump is.
But you think? I
voted for Trump.
I think those people would never vote for Kanye, is what I'm saying.
I don't know. I don't think these people can see past the Trump flag and the one behind it that says F Biden.
Yeah.
You know?
Also, I think most of these people don't. I think it's a much smaller number than people like to add on. they always talk about these diehard Trump supporters and all.
Yeah.
I think most of his votes were people like you and me who were like, I'm not really all that into Trump, but definitely not voting for Hillary.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm voting for Biden.
Yeah.
I guess I'll vote for Trump. I think that was way more people.
I agree. But since then, there's been a really big move because of the way the country has been ran.
Yeah.
And the way that, COVID and things have been worked out and all that whole thing, that there is even like some of the middle to left are coming over to the right just because they don't like that side again. So I think that you'll see a bigger push. Now, if I'm honest, you're probably right about Ye, right? Like if they ran together, but
it's a fun thought.
how awesome would that be?
You
If it was somebody else's country, that'd have been fine. But this is the greatest country in the world. You have a rapper.
A mentally unstable rapper.
And a mentally unstable. What do you call these guys?
You want to call him real estate agent?
I mean, no. What was the reality show host?
Oh yeah, reality star.
Yes.
Well, actually, they're really two reality stars. Wow, both of them.
That'd have been so beautiful. I mean, if we didn't have to live there.
Yeah.
But do you know how good comedy would have been?
Oh, he can still be. I mean, he's running. It's still there's gonna be some jokes.
Yeah, but the friendship that's going to be lost between the two.
Oh, it sounds like they've already lost it, I think.
Yeah.
Trump tried to give him some good advice.
Yeah,
Don't run, you're going to lose.
You're going to lose.
Kanye said, I'm doing it anyway.
Kanye should have waited. This is my opinion. Kanye should have waited, got behind Trump, supported him.
Sure.
Got a lot of the, black votes, a lot of that stuff, flowing that way. And then 4 years, run on his own, and then have Trump do the same thing for him. That would have been the smartest thing to do.
Yeah.
And then really let a lot of this, the Jewish things die down and let him recover from a lot of, his things that have been going on. Because America's like me. Oh. Once the podcast is over, they move on.
That's what you're going to say. America's like me. They have multiple pairs of clothes for all their different sizes. You never know what size you're going to be.
We're a forgiving country.
Yeah.
Time heals a lot.
Are we? I don't know about that one.
I think we are. I think the most people in America are.
Okay.
I don't think the loudest people in America are.
Yeah.
But most people.
I think forgiving's not the right word. I think it's more forgetful.
Forgetting, yeah.
Yeah, we're very forgetful.
Because there's so much information that comes out so fast that you can't keep up with all of it, so we do forget.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when your hard drive's full.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure, when your hard drive's full. That just shows you how smart I am. I have a lot of stuff up there.
Do you?
The problem is indexing it.
Yeah. You just can't find it.
You just can't find it.
You trying to find that information about that story is like digging through an old garage.
Well, that's the problem. The computers when I was born was way different than they are now.
Yeah.
I'm still running on 512 megabytes.
Whatever.
Yeah. You got to hear what I hear. You youngsters
I got
are
a
on
MacBook Pro.
Yeah, y'all running on fiber and stuff.
This is funny because in reality, you are the way more techie guy than me, and I'm the guy who's got like.
So there you go, America. There's your future.
That's it. You get to have Kanye, but not both of them at the same time. No, you gotta pick one.
I need Elon to run.
Who runs for the Democrats? It's not going to be Biden. They keep saying it. It's not going to be him. Or let's just, for the sake of argument, Biden's decided he's not going to run. Who runs?
I don't even know.
Who can do it?
Everybody's quitting over there. Everybody's like bowing out because they don't want to have to deal with the backlash of the way America's crashing right now. So they're like, I'm out. If I'm out of the public eye. You can't blame me. Yeah. Fauci, that other crazy... whatever her name is.
He's finally done.
Yeah. The Speaker of the House, what was her name? The one that got her husband got hit over the head with a hammer with it by the naked dude.
Pelosi.
Yeah. Like these people are. I mean, like I don't know. I don't even know who's running over there. I would really like to see the guy, and we don't talk politics because obviously we don't know politics. We don't
Our political stance is Kanye and Trump should run.
Yeah, 2024, baby.
If DeSantis runs for the Republicans, does he win?
If DeSantis what?
If he runs for the Republicans, does he win?
I think he does.
I think so too.
I think he would beat out Trump.
I think he would.
But I think
he would easily beat out Trump.
I think he's smart enough though to wait.
Yeah.
To let Trump.
Do you think he even will run?
Yeah, I think he will. After Trump gets out of the way.
All right, here it is. Here's my predictions. I think he runs.
This 2024?
Yeah.
Really?
I think DeSantis runs. He waits at least.
DeSantis?
I think
Kanye? No.
I don't think he picks up Kanye. I don't think so. I think he runs. I think he beats Trump by way more than people are expecting him to. Because I think at least half of Trump's support, at least, probably more, but at least half are people more like you and me that are just like, I'm not super into him, but we
can't vote for the other side.
I can't vote for the other side. So if you give them DeSantis, who most of them seem to really like, I think he'll easily beat Trump.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really.
And right now, the Democrats don't even have they have nobody to even run at all. Yeah. So he'll easily beat Biden.
You know who I'd like to see run for?
Same with Kamala. He'll just smash Kamala.
I would like to see what's her name from Hawaii.
Tulsi Gabbard.
Tulsi Gabbard run for the left.
Yeah, but I don't think they'll let her run. They already
I think she just like stepped away from the Democratic Party. She's more of a what do they call it now?
Libertarian. Yeah. I think is she still doing politics in Hawaii? I can't remember.
I don't know. I think she's done over there. But if it wasn't for her stance on abortion, man, I think I'd vote for her.
Yeah. I think I would still vote for her overall. Yeah. I think she's got more things that I agree with.
I know we have a lot of Christians listening, so I got to be careful. But now that the abortion is like at the state level, that we get to do it there, I think it would be hard for me not to vote for her over Trump.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If she ran, but I don't know if she will run.
No, I don't think she is.
And listen, I'm saying all of this without doing any research. People like I don't want to. Oh, Pastor David wants to vote for pro life or whatever it is, or
no, it's pro-choice.
Pro-choice. Yeah. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it.
Let them know.
Everybody relax. Don't fill the comments up.
But he is saying that he does recommend kidnapping children. If you can't have
no more than $70,000 a year.
Only if you can't have one on your own.
That's right.
And you don't have the money to adopt one legally. That's it. That's the only time he's saying you should do it.
This is James saying that I said.
Anyway, that's our political talk. That's pretty fun.
And this is
we never get to talk politics.
We don't talk because we're obviously don't know what we're talking about.
Because we're obviously way smarter than everybody else.
Because we're obviously telling people to go kidnap people.
That was you. I was trying the whole time to tell you that wasn't a good idea. I said, dude, they're not going to vote for that. They're not going to go for it, dude. You gotta tone down the kidnapping. You didn't see me putting my, I was doing this whole thing.
Yeah, they can't see that.
I know.
They can't see it.
I was giving them the hand by the neck.
As you was telling them what I felt about it.
Yeah. I was like, dude.
All right, I got a song for y'all today. Lecrae, Good Lord, featuring Andy Mineo.
Even when I'm down bad, I know how to bounce back. 'Cause you know I got her. And she look good, don't she? On top of that, she good for me. Made me wanna say, even though I got plenty, if I'm down to my last penny, I still gotta, back up, 'cause it's on this old train line. I'ma get it done. Now I got the party jumping like it's double dutch. Then we spun the block, came back, double up like, ooh, I got her, and yeah, met her uptown, but she from the borough, better known as the boogie down. All sookie now, get up out the kitchen, man, I'm cooking now. Brother man, slip me skin, suck it to me, and they gotta shut their mouth when they talking to me. I look around, it's a whole lot of flexing mamas, but I hit the highest men, don't want the drama. Hey, peace and love, baby, keep it groovy. Every time we pop out, you know it's a movie. If I'm in hot water, then it's a jacuzzi. I gotta shake, so I'm throwing deuces. I gotta even when I'm down bad. Yeah, I know how to bounce back, cause you know I gotta. And she look good, don't she? On top of that, she good for me. Made me wanna say, even though I got plenty, if I'm down to my last penny, I still gotta. Still gotta. Still gotta. Get up off the wall, go on, get it moving here. Yeah, I'm just catching the vibe. I told the valet, take your time, it might get a ride. I'm floating through the front door, my mind is tied. Good Lord, mama, you know you looking divine. I had to turn around, double take a look at that. Girl, you got good taste, where you cook it at? You can mingle with the cool kids. I'm out here sweating like a preacher in the pulpit. Even when I'm down bad, I know how to bounce back. I know I got her, and she look good, don't she? On top of that, she good for me. Made me wanna say, and even though I got plenty, if I'm down to my last penny, I still got her. I know I got her. I know I got her. Even when I'm down bad, yeah, I know how to bounce back. Cause you know I got her.
Good Lord. Lecrae and Andy Mineo. That's kind of a jam, man. I need to go back and listen to the lyrics, but you know what I like, man? I like Christian men that do songs about their wives.
Oh, yeah.
And talk about how hot they are and how they still make them move and still move them inside. You know, every time my wife gets dressed or even puts pajamas on, she walks past and I'll whistle at her. You know?
I can't whistle, so I don't
I
whistle.
just do some cat calls, you know?
Yeah, you do some tasteful cat calls.
Yeah. Just to let her know, man, that I'm still into her, 20 years later.
Got to.
So when I hear Christian guys do songs like that, because as Christians, sometimes we feel like we have to only do Christian music, and if we're not holy enough, but man, we need things that, like, we need to hear other men talk about their wives too, that kind of help us, guide us into saying, hey man, it's okay to, let our wives know how beautiful they are. And, especially in hip hop culture, where women's are bees and, and they're not always talked about into the best, realm or whatever it may be. Yeah. So, I enjoyed the music. I thought the music was produced very well. I will have to go back and listen to the lyrics.
I was looking at, I was trying to see what label he was on, and because that's like a James Brown sample that he's using, and that wasn't cheap to use that sample. So I was like, who's paying for him to use these James Brown samples?
He's paying for it himself. He's
on his own label.
His own label. So and they've done real well. He's the biggest Christian hip hop label. Yeah, has been for 15 years now, maybe 20 years, and so he does pretty good for himself. I
also am curious as to where all the other instrument sounds, where he got those from.
Yeah.
I imagine a lot of that was sampled stuff too. So.
I'm pretty sure it was. He has several producers on staff. Yeah, that are assigned to Reach Records. So he has, a lot of very talented guys that work for him and his guys. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep, very good. So we played Lecrae because I was listening to a Sway in the morning. and Lecrae was on there. I don't normally listen to Sway, but Sway goes back a long time to Christian hip hop. It had to be 15 years ago when we were doing a award show. We done an award show for Christian hip hop in Houston for many years in a row. King's Camp was heavily involved in that. Even before that, Trey 9 was doing it, and Sway came out, and Sway's always kind of been like a religious dude, but he's always been in some of the mainstream hip hop. So it's one of those things like, I'm Christian, but I'm not doing the Christian thing. Anyways, but he came out to one of them. He hosted one of them. Trey 9 got him to come out and host it, and he said this is what hip hop is missing when he came out and hosted Christian Hip Hop Awards. Wow! And so he's always had the Christian guys come on his platform and gave him a platform, a national platform. I think his platform is Sirius XM. Yeah. He's a staple in New York hip hop. He's originally from I think Anaheim, California. So he has a huge following, and to let guys like Bizzle and Lecrae and Andy Mineo and a lot of these guys come on this platform does a lot for the Christian hip hop culture. So Lecrae's been on there just about in the last probably 6 or 7 years. He's been on there every time he has the album come out. He brings them on. Nice. So it's very cool that he has that. But as I was watching Lecrae, I try to keep up with hip hop. Still, I don't listen to it as much as I used to, just because I'm getting old, man. The new hip hop is not cool to me. But I like to follow some of the guys that I've met and done ministry with, and Lecrae's one of those guys. And a guy called in and asked Lecrae a question, and I want to let we'll play the question and let Lecrae to respond, and then we'll just kind of talk to it a little bit.
Question is this: what does it take for you guys, like you, Cannon, Bizzle, Derek Mine, and all you guys, to get out? And I don't want to say make Christian, I don't know if I'm using terms correctly, make Christian rap more out there. Like, if these kids can bebop their heads to all this mumble rap going on, why can't they listen to hip hop music? Is it because the avenues are not open to you guys, and the platform you got, the status that you're at, you can't make that happen?
Oh, you want me to be real? Can I be real? All right, I'll be real with you, my guy. So, end of the day, if you want to make a record about killing animals, they not gonna play that. They not gonna push that. You want to make a record about, raping women, they not gonna play that. But you want to make a record about killing your own people or selling drugs to them, funny, they'll let us play that. You want to talk about your faith, they like, nah, we not trying to. That's why I love it up here as a citizen on the morning show, Swaying in the Morning, because they play my music. They'll play our music. So a lot of it is based off of what these labels, they invested in a lot of the low vibrations. And because they invested in that, they want that to play. When you start talking about change and impact and impacting your community and seeing them transform and so on and so forth, a lot of times that does not get the push. And just like anything else, when kids get used to eating candy, they don't want no good food. You know what I'm saying? So if we keep pushing candy on them, they're not going to want a steak. They're not going to want nothing good to them. So honestly, it ain't about us. We doing our job. Cannon, Bizzle, myself, we doing our job. But it comes down to, the support of industry. It comes down to a lot of different organizations and different things. And people like yourself on a grassroots level, just spreading the word and telling everybody to support.
Yeah, buy their music, Carl. Quit complaining. You're a citizen. Go ahead.
All right. So, and I don't want this to be a hip hop culture discussion. I think this is a bigger thing. It's a Christian entertainment discussion.
Sure.
And I think Sway says something there very, very helpful, because I remember when I was like deep into Christian hip hop, when we had the label and everything, that I would buy like these guys' album. They would come out and I would buy it. I would go to these hip hop shows and we would let everybody set up tables to try to sell their stuff, even if they were performing or not. If you can bring a table and you have something to sell, and I would buy that stuff, and they would sell it for $7 or $5, and I would just go around and I would try to buy as much as I could buy, because I know that it was being invested back. They're going to use that money to make their next album. But you hear a lot of like, man, I don't watch them Christian movies because the acting is terrible.
Yeah.
Well, it's because they can't afford no good actors. And it's because you won't watch it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? but it's hard to watch it.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things like we have to kind of change our mindset about how we go about these things to really like. If you ever watch the old movie, okay, so, whoa, almost knocked the whole microphone over. So a guy was telling me the other day that he wanted to his daughter wanted to. Did I say God told me the other day that it's not how it happened?
Yeah. Try it again. Just take it from the top. Okay.
I was listening to a guy talk on YouTube. He wasn't talking to me.
No, okay. Gotcha.
But he was like, he was excited about letting his daughter watch the old Jaws.
Ah, okay.
You know, and he was watching it. And as he was watching it, he was just like, this movie is like pretty terrible. You know?
Yeah.
But in his time, that was
amazing.
Like, it was amazing. The special effects was like off the chart and all those things. But it took a little while to get to the Marvel movies the way they are today, you know? And I think that like if we don't somehow invest in Christian stuff, that it's always going to be terrible.
Yeah.
If we don't take chances in Christian stuff, then it's always going to be terrible.
Yeah.
So at some point, we have to be like Sway said, we have to be the grassroots.
Yeah.
You know, we have to kind of go through and you know, the old saying when I was younger, we have to blaze the trail. You know, if somebody doesn't blaze the trail, then we're all going to be walking through the woods. You know, and at some point, who wants to blaze that trail? Lecrae's, he's a trailblazer. You know, he took the heat for all Christian hip hop. He's went out there and he's done stuff right, and took the heat, and he's messed up. And he'll be the first to admit, man, maybe I should have done some stuff that I shouldn't have done. But because of that, now everybody else is basically, you know, able to do some different things and get there faster and those type of things. So what is your feelings about the kind of some of the things that he says is like why industry doesn't allow more positive stuff to be promoted in the bigger bucks and the bigger companies and record labels and movie productions to kind of be behind some of the more positive things?
Well, it's just like anything, you know, they're just trying to make money. So if it's going to, you know, if people are buying it, they'll sell it, you know, and if they're not buying it, they're not going to invest in it. And like you said, most people aren't. The audience for Christian music, Christian hip hop and all, it's way smaller than the audience for just secular hip hop and rap.
So what about to the point where he go, they're not going to play anything about killing dogs, but they'll push an album of people killing people?
Yeah. Which, I mean, yeah, it doesn't sound good, but people are buying it.
Yeah.
You know? So, like, if you go, think like NWA or like any of those like original like gangster rap people,
right.
Like they didn't originally want to push that stuff. They didn't want it at all. But they had such a following and people were like demanding it that they're like, you know, they gave them deals and they started pushing it and all.
That's
because
a good point.
people wanted to listen to it. They don't care. They're not they're not like too morally this or that. They're just trying to make money like everything else. And then to the point of you know, nobody's buying it, so there's no, like, they can't afford good actors kind of a thing. Like, since nobody's doing it, it's not that good. We don't have the money to make it good because nobody's buying it and watching it all. I mean, if you just even think about, like, hip-hop, though, like, when it started, it was just people, like, nobody was putting money into it. You know, it was people just throwing parties themselves, scratching on a couple deck record players, and they were just out there doing their own thing. And
right.
They did it so well that people were drawn to it, and, you know, it blew up into what it is today. Somebody didn't just come by and, like, put a bunch of money into it, and then it was good. It was like
right.
They just did it because they loved it and were passionate about it.
And most music's that way, right?
That's how it, that's how it is with, like, everything.
Most music is from a passion, or most art, I wouldn't even say music. Most art is from a passion of somebody, and then because it becomes the passion had grown, then the money came. Yeah,
I mean, if you've got a bad idea or a bad business plan, or, you know, bad, like, just throwing a bunch of money at it doesn't make it good.
Yeah.
It might make it a little less bad, maybe for a while, but it's not going to be the next big thing. You know?
You hear these, you hear athletes talk about, when they make it, right? Then they have all these people they have to bring with them, and they're just like passing out $50,000 of this guy for his idea, and then $100,000 for this idea, and then the guy asks him like, how many of those businesses are still running? And it was just like none of them. Yeah. Right, because just throwing money at it doesn't make it successful or sustainable.
So a lot of people, especially if you're like a low level or like an entry level artist or something, that's one of the things they like to complain about. Well, I don't have the money to go get in a nice studio. I don't have the money for the nice gear. I don't, whatever it is, but it's just, I don't think it's a good enough excuse. It's definitely easier if you have some money, but like people are doing it without it. There's always somebody who's got a tougher situation out there than you that's doing better than you. Yeah. It just is. And like the best stuff out there, like, I mean, just like I said, the hip hop, the rap, that's like the most popular form of music in America right now, is rap music. And it's not because anybody decided to put a bunch of money into it. It's because people just liked it and they just kept doing it and got as good as they could at it,
Yeah, two things on that. First, I think anything that touches who you are is going to be successful as far as music. Like if people can feel it, they can understand it, they can see it in their own lives, in their own culture, in their own neighborhoods. It's going to move emotion, right? To your other point where you said like, if you're bad at something, it's not going to sell, right?
Yeah.
I remember having hard conversations with people that were spending their whole checks trying to make music, and they were never going to be good.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things that like, as a mentor, as, a friend, that I think more of that needs to happen where you sit down and you're just like, hey man, I know that like you love to do this and it's your passion and all that, but maybe you should slow down. Like this is not something that you're going to be good at.
Yeah. I've heard people talk about that. One of the things I liked, I heard somebody, what is his name? It doesn't matter who his name is, but I heard this guy once, he was talking about that. He was like, it's okay if your passion is just a hobby, right? Like it doesn't, if you like playing guitar, like it's okay that you go play guitar at that place in town once a month, and or whatever, twice a month, whatever. Right. Like it's okay to do that and enjoy it and have a good time with it. Just because you're not going to be the next Jimi Hendrix doesn't mean that you have to stop playing guitar or whatever. And I thought that was a good thing because a lot of those people, like you were describing, they're putting everything in it,
and they're like putting their future, at risk.
Yeah, but at the same time, a lot of those, like if you're trying to make it in the arts of some kind, you're trying to start a business, whatever. Like most of the time, you got to. But
you have to have people around you, man. You have to have people around you that you trust, that you can trust, that you go to and just like, hey man, like evaluate this for me. And that's the greatest thing about being married and having, someone that you can trust, that's smart, that sees things from a different point of view, that you can go to and just say, hey man, where are we at on this? You can check some balances for each other. Yeah. We had that in our group. We had Vaughn, myself, and a couple of other guys that we all came and we all had different strengths. And because of that, we could also hold each other accountable in different areas, right? Yeah. So that's a good thing. Getting back to Lecrae, I think that we have to be careful when we say that, especially in the Christian arena, that how come we are not on the same level as them, whatever them is. Yeah. As Christians, we don't work on the same clock as the world. And I think a lot of times when we talk about us versus them, it's two different games. It's like baseball and football. Sure. They're not going to come together and play in a World Series against each other. Yeah. Right? because we live in a different realm. It's a spiritual versus natural. And I think a lot of times we get caught up and we think that we're supposed to be on the same platforms. We're supposed to be signed by the same, groups and do the same kind of things that they're doing. And I think a lot of times that also can hold us down and keep us from doing what God has called us to do.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think there's a time and place for all of it. If I was a rapper, I think it'd be awesome. If I was a Christian rapper, I think it'd be awesome to be on like Lecrae's label or something.
Right.
And he, from what I understand, he's building like a pretty decent size, following or whatever with his label. But I think there's also a place for people to have positive music that's on
the secular side,
Universal Records or whatever.
Right.
You think about like
their distribution's done by a bigger company.
Yeah.
Right. They have their own record label. All the creative stuff is controlled by them, but their distribution is done by Universal.
I mean, I think you need the Stephen Curtis Chapman on KSBJ. You need that, and I think you need what's the name of those people?
The Newsboys and all them.
Well, they're still pretty on the Christian side.
But, right. You're talking about kind of the...
Yeah, you need the people in the middle. I'm thinking of a band and I'm blanking on their name, but it doesn't matter. You need those people too. I think you need them all. Like you look at Jesus, he didn't just come preach to the Jewish people. Like he went and sat down with everybody.
Right,
he sat down with the prostitutes. He taught, you need everybody there. But I think there's a time and place for all of it.
Yeah, I gave you a scripture, so let's pull that scripture up and let's read that and see how it really kind of goes with what we're talking about here.
Yeah, so it was 1 John 2:15 through 17. This is the NIV version. It says, "Do not love the world or anything in the world. If anyone loves the world, love for the Father is not in them. If anything is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life comes not from the Father, but from the world. The world and its desires pass away, but whoever does the will of God lives forever."
Yeah, so I think that's exactly what we're talking about right now, that we're not supposed to be the same. Mm-hmm. Not saying that we're not supposed to be in the culture, we're just not supposed to be of the culture, right? Because just like you were saying, that's what brought that scripture to my mind is when you were saying Jesus was going out and he was with the prostitutes, he was with the tax collectors and all those people that we're supposed to be within them, right? That's why they call the church the light of the world. So if we're not supposed to be drawing them in there, then we don't understand who they are. But the problem is when we have the lust. What was that? The lust of read that part of it. The two lusts.
So the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life.
Yeah. So we're not supposed to be in the world where the lust of the world, the things that this world has to offer, makes us have those dopamines, right? And get off on those things, or the sexual perversion of the lust of the eye and the gold and the silvers and all that, and then the pride of light, right?
Pride of life.
Pride of life.
Just being proud.
Just being proud of things, And I think that when this guy's asking Lecrae this question, he's looking at it from a secular perspective. And I think that's kind of what gets Christians sometimes in a lot of trouble, is that we look through the scriptures from a secular perspective instead of a godly perspective.
Yeah.
And we wonder why that the word that we're reading is not applying and it's not coming to fruition in our life, because that's not the way God intended it. So when we say, hey, how come we're not getting the same shine from these type of people, is you're praying for that, but that's not how God intended it to be. God had intended it for you to do your thing on certain platforms, and then he might give you might be a Lecrae and you might be on Sway, but the majority of the people are not. Yeah. The majority of Christians are the majority of the Christians are teaching Bible study on a Wednesday night. You know, they're doing a home group on a Tuesday night. They're not.
They're not Joel Osteen.
They're not Joel Osteen, you know, and that's good that we have those people because we do need the banner flying to let everybody know, hey, the hospital is open, right? But then we also need the majority of the people working inside the hospital for when the people come.
Yeah, I think that's, you know, the last verse that we read. It says, "The world and its desires pass away, but whoever does the will of God lives forever." And I think that's the thing. The will, you know, what's His will for your life? Is His will for you to be that mega church pastor, or is it to be, you know, the Sunday school teacher of those 3 people at the church or whatever it is? And I think it's the same thing with like the music stuff. We're talking about, you know, is His will for you to be the you know, the praise and worship leader, the KSBJ guy, or is it for you to be a more, you know, crossover secular thing to reach those people? I think a lot of people get they'll use the verses where it talks about Jesus sitting with the prostitutes and sitting with, you know, the sinners and whatever. They'll use those verses as an excuse to like be in places where they shouldn't be, and they'll be, you know, well, God didn't come to heal the doctor. Whatever, the sick people need a doctor, or like that kind of stuff, you know.
Like the one girl that was stripping for Jesus. So she was out there stripping so she could minister to those strippers.
They'll use that stuff too, and you know, somebody's got to minister to those people, you know. But maybe that ain't you. You know, you got to be honest with yourself, and what's His will for your life. And I think if you're doing that, you know, you'll be all right.
Yeah, I mean,
but most people can't be honest with themselves and all. The same people that are like, no, I'm gonna. They're spending their whole check trying to get that music career going, and it's just not happening. You know, they're not being honest with themselves, you know. But sometimes you also have those same people that do the same thing, and, you know, a decade from now, you know, everybody's looking back saying, hey, I was wrong. You know, you were right. I'm glad you kept going. Yeah. But you just gotta be in tune what His will is for you.
That's right. I think that like the scorecards are different, and we look at certain scorecards and think that we should be that way. I mean, if God called me to be a pastor of a community church of 50 people, and then as that pastor, you're looking at Osteen and going, man, I'm doing something wrong because God's greatest call is to have a church of 40,000. That's not the way it is. Yeah. You know, the scorecards are not the same for each and every individual.
It's also the opposite. You know, maybe He did call you to be the pastor of that 10,000 member church or whatever, and maybe you're at a church that's got 1,000 people or whatever, and you can look at the people at the churches that only got 100 members or 20 members, you know, and you can be like, hey, I'm pastoring a big church, I am doing what I was supposed to do, but God had this other bigger plan for you that you didn't step up to. I think you're going to be held just as accountable as the opposite. For sure. You know?
Yeah. I think that when God calls us in our life, we are supposed to do the very best that we can at every step. And at some point, either God's going to open the door or He's going to give you satisfaction of where you are. Yeah. You know, He's going to give you peace and understanding that there's 50 people in the audience right now that need your full attention. Yeah. Not everybody needs full attention. You know, not everybody needs somebody that constantly pats them on the back and saying, you're doing a good job, keep it up. They do need discipleship, but some people need more of a one-on-one than other people. I got a guy coming in Thursday to meet with him, and you know, he just kind of basically told me that, you know, he'd been praying about it, and he really feels like that he should be sitting under my authority. We'll see where that goes. But, you know, some people, like, I don't get that very often, you know, but he feels like this time of his life that he needs to be sitting under someone's authority, which is great, you know. But the majority of people are not that way. The majority of people are going to want to just kind of figure things out on their own and do that thing. So Joel Osteen can't do that. Yeah. You know, Joel Osteen's he doesn't have enough access to the people where somebody can walk up to him and say, hey, man, God told me to do this. Yeah. Now, I'm sure he has inner circles and different things where people can do that. But there's when I was in the secular world at my previous job, there's this lady that would sit and she would put millions of bottles on the line a year. The empty bottles, and they would go on the line. They would get filled by whatever fluid is, and the captain sent out to all over the world. I always, used to talk to her and just like, hey, do you want to do anything else? Like, man, you do such a good job here. And I would almost beg her to do something different, And then my mentor says, if she says no, encourage her to do it. But if she says no, we need those people.
Yeah, somebody got to put them bottles.
Somebody has to put the bottle. And she's doing an amazing job, and she's satisfied with that in her life. And that's where, she was called to be. We need excellence there.
Yeah.
We don't only need excellence at the top. We need excellence at every position along the way. And that just really, kind of touched my heart in all areas of, because the whole time that I've been climbing the ladder in at work or whatever, they bring these gurus in, and they would teach you how to be the best you, and they had us all standing in the front, with our chest post, doing this Superman stand. I'm just like, this is stupid,
Oh, I'm so glad I don't go to
before you go in the meetings, you just do your pose and just tell everybody that, tell yourself that they're serious. But a lot of the stuff was good.
Sure.
A lot of it was good stuff, but I always thought, okay, how does this help me in ministry? If it's going to help me here, it's got to help me over here too, and so I try to always compare that, even with that young lady that put millions of bottles on every year. Like, okay, that also, it turns over into the church.
Yeah. I always think of the story about the three guys who got the different amounts of talents. One dude got 1, one guy got 5, the other guy got 10. I think about that like a lot, where, so the guy who had 10, he doubled them. And the master comes back, says, good job. And the guy who has 5, he doubled them. And the guy says, good job. And then the guy who has 1, he doesn't do anything to it. He just gives him the 1 talent back. And the guy calls him, I think he calls him wicked and lazy, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But so like the guy who had 10, he doubled them. So he made 10 more. And the guy said, good job. And the guy who had 5, he doubled them. So he made 5 more. And the guy says, good job. But the guy who had 10, he did twice as much as the guy who had 5. But they both got the same,
reward.
Yeah, the same reward.
Yeah.
And so I think about like the guy who had 10, like if he had only made 5 more, that would have been the same amount as the dude who had 5. They both did the same, but the guy who had 10, I think he would have said, you didn't do enough. You didn't do it right. Like he probably would have called him a wicked and lazy guy.
Yeah.
Even though he made 5, and also the dude who had 1 didn't even get any more. They both would have been equally as bad. So I think about that story a lot, especially when it comes to like.
I never thought about it like that. I always thought about it from the guy with the 1.
No, it's just like it doesn't. The whole point of the story is like it doesn't really matter how much you're called to do. It's just you're supposed to do that much.
That much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether you do less, if you do anything less than it, you didn't do it.
If you did anything less than what God gave you,
yeah,
you didn't.
Even if it's way more than somebody else.
Wow. I like it. Preach, brother.
Yeah. I think about that story so much. And it applies.
I've never,
it applies in so many different
So if
ways.
You ever hear me preach that?
There you go.
It's mine.
I mean, it's in the Bible. It's yours. It's everybody's story. But yeah, I think that applies with this. Maybe you were, if we bring it back to the music thing, maybe you were just supposed to play guitar that one time a month in that place, and God was going to use that however it was. Or maybe you're supposed to be selling out arenas around the world. Whatever it is, and anywhere in between. Like, if you don't do that much, you didn't do what His will was for your life.
Right. That's funny that you say that, because at the end of this, they ask another caller calls in and they ask him, say, what's next? He's putting a project out now.
Yeah.
And they always want to know what's next.
Yeah.
Like, hey man, I just been in the lab for 18 months doing this project, and they already wants to know what's next.
Well, they listen to it, in 45 minutes.
Yeah, they're done. Just like we were talking about earlier, so much information is coming out. But he was just like, man, it's I'm still going to do music, but it's my time to sit back and put these people on the platform that I built. Now this is the next generation's time. And then he starts naming off like 6 or 7 artists that he's signed to his label so he can promote them, you know, and I think that's just what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, he's taking the talents that God has given him. Now he's promoting the next generation.
Yeah.
So
Good for him. Yeah.
very good. Yeah, I mean, I think
We're
that's
over
all,
an
man.
hour, man.
Yeah, over an hour. So I think we're good. Nobody else wants to listen to us over an hour. So
I mean, if you had any more advice about taking kids or where to get them, how long to hold on to them, I think we could throw that in real quick. We got a little
let me
bit of
just
time.
clarify on that.
Yeah.
Okay, if you're going to take them, keep them.
And can I end it right there?
And we love you.
This is the Refuge Project.